everyone. I am Halima Nash, founder of Rosecrans Ventures. Welcome to Career Conversations, where today I will have the honor of interviewing Mr. David Hargrett, founder and CEO of Affective Music, and his boss intern, Mr. Justin Powell, student at University of Southern California, and also assistant director of the Black Student Assembly on campus. I got two bosses that I'm interviewing today, so today I'm the intern. So we're just really excited to have a conversation about how this intern match created some really fantastic opportunities. I had the pleasure of matching these two gentlemen with last summer's internship. And what was exciting about this match, I'll give you a couple high-level points. Two African-American men, both from the south side of Chicago, both started in finance, but both have a passion and interest in music. And when I met this gentleman, David, on a panel discussion for Tech Lamert, and told him that I had a gentleman who I was working with, I was coaching, and wanted to match him in an internship, he said, say less. It's a no-brainer. So why don't we start with having you both introduce yourself?
Okay, sounds good. Well, I am David S. Hargrett. I am the founder and CEO, as you said, of Affective Music. I also own and operate 360 Total Solutions, which is a storytelling agency. We help our clients tell their stories via in-person events and activations and social media, all types of stuff. I am essentially a musician that went to business school. You know, I grew up playing in church. I grew up listening to music on a very high level, you know, interested, just obsessed with music. And I went to Florida A&M, FAMU, Rattlers, one time for FAM.
HBCU love in the building.
Gotta show the love to my FAMU. I went there and like you said, I applied as a finance major. And I didn't think I could make money in music. And so, or I didn't know how to make money in music. And so I studied finance for a couple years before I switched to marketing. I was like, okay, this is a little bit better. Fast forward, leaving college, you know, got the MBA. I thought I was the you know, stuff.
That's what you do, right?
You know, I was a little.
You can say I thought I was the shit. That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a real conversation.
Okay. Well then. Okay. See, I didn't know that, but I did. I thought I was the hot stuff. Trying to climb the corporate ladder, only to keep getting brought back to music. In 2014, one of my closest friends, Jameson Ross, got a music recording contract. And he was like, bro, I want you to manage me. And I was like, nah. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, nah. And so I just posted a photo from those early conversations where I told him I would agree to be his chief of staff, right? So like I wouldn't commit to managing because that just seemed like too much for me at the time. But he did have a vision for what we could do together. He's a phenomenal artist, producer, musician, like all of the above. And so he needed the business side, and that led to me managing him, which then led to us building out our partnership, and we brought on another artist. And in an effort to get him a deal, like we kept getting turned down. And so I was just like, you know what, forget it. I'm gonna put the album out. And Affective Music was born.
Affective Music, and now here we are. And Justin had an opportunity to intern at Affective Music. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Mr. Powell.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Justin Powell. I'm currently a sophomore at USC, where I study business administration and music industry. So my story with Ms. Nash started last summer, where I knew I wanted to work in business, but I didn't know specifically what realm in the business world I wanted to be in. So I said, anything that you think I'll be a good fit in, just put me with them. And she matched me with an investment bank called Chicago Fundamental Investment Partners, where I interned for the entire summer. And it was interesting work. It's a lot of the things I do here at business school at USC, but I knew right away it wasn't really what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. It was just numbers crunching, going in and out 9 to 5, sitting at a computer doing the same thing over and over again. But I knew that's not what I was passionate about. So after my first year at USC, where I picked up my music industry minor, I came back to Miss Nash and I said, for this summer, do you think I could find a record label internship? And if possible, could it be a Black owned record label? Because I knew in the future I wanted to have my own record label. And obviously I am Black and I own it. So I wanted to work for a Black owned record label. So we started digging, and she was helping me fill out my resume and change it from a financial resume to a music industry resume. And she came back to me, she said, Justin, what do you feel about working for a relatively small record label? I have a match I think you'll be perfect for. So she came back, she introduced me to David. We had a call. I was in my dorm room. I was so nervous for this call. I was pacing for a good 30 minutes before David called me. So that's where it started. And obviously with the COVID pandemic, everything had to switch to online. But I was really nervous that my internship would be canceled. I saw a lot of my friends' internships being canceled since they couldn't go in person. But I worked closely with David and Miss Nash to get our internship and figure out how we could move forward virtually. And yeah, the rest is history. I've been working with Affective Music since May. As soon as classes let out, the Monday after classes let out, I started working for Affective Music, and I haven't stopped since.
So Justin, you talked about two things that I think is awesome, and David and I could probably double click on that. You did an internship based on your interest, and internships where it's not necessarily what you're gonna do for the rest of your life sometimes teach you what you wanna do, or they'll show you what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
But they're equally important. And I think we've all had those experiences where we had internships that don't necessarily represent what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the biggest lesson that you took from that first internship into the Affective Music internship?
Yes, so working at an investment bank, it was obviously something that they didn't teach us the skills of investment banking in high school. So I obviously didn't know the fundamentals of going through Bloomberg, looking at all these graphs and charts and accounting formulas coming from these huge companies. So it was the first time I really actually had to open up my shell and ask for help, and I didn't understand something. And coming into Affective Music, that was something that I no longer was afraid of doing. So on the first day, I will always ask David, wait, what do you mean by tour management? Or what is this type of form that we always have to fill out when we're doing something? So just being open to asking for help and asking questions that I generally will keep to myself or look up later has really helped create an open relationship here and open line of communication at Affective Music for us.
And it's interesting you say you were pacing the floor for your interview, your call with David. And I remember the call that I had with David after you all chatted, but I would love to hear from you. What were the things that shined about Justin, and what were some of the things that were important to you in that interview process in your hire of an intern?
The company is new, right? We launched in July of 2019. We put out the first project in September of 2019. And so we were talking to Justin, it was February 2020. And I'm like, okay, am I gonna have something for him to do? Like, am I gonna have to, like, what do I have to do? Like, do I have to wake up early in the morning? Like,
what will this require?
Yeah. So there was a little bit of that. But what shined about Justin is that when I asked him to tell me like about his interest in music, he kind of verbatim kind of spit out how I talk about music and being able to give artists a place where they can be 100% who they are and express themselves 100% without feeling like they have to have some level of approval, right? And so, you know, we had our first call, and it's interesting because I was on the call, my coordinator, his name is Corey, was on the call as well, and Justin said that, and, you know, we were both kind of like, okay, that's it. You know, we really don't need anything else. Like, I could ask a whole bunch of questions, and I'm sure I did. I think I asked some more questions, you know, but it's really about a feeling. Affective Music is about music that causes people to change, right? To be different after they hear it, to be more introspective or reflective or apologetic or, you know, whatever it is, you know. We believe that music has the ability to inspire, heal, and connect us. And when that happens, it's what we call affective music. And so for me, it's not necessarily about what I hear or see as much as it is about what I feel. And so I was like, okay.
I am a huge believer in not creating decisions for young people. You know, I want to know, what is your vision for your life? How do I create an opportunity that is idiosyncratic to your dream, to your aspirations? And so with Justin, which, you know, I would love to kind of dive into your experience of the internship itself. There are skills that are important in any internship and in any situation. Communication is going to be important. You clearly communicated amazingly, because as nervous as you were, David hit me up right after, like, I gotta have this kid on an internship. Like this has to happen. Justin was amazing. So you were nervous, yes, but you still displayed confidence. You still made sure that you showed your authenticity. You didn't show up as someone else or try to be someone else. You talked about authentically what you wanted to do, and that ended up matching perfectly with the person who would become your employer. I tell students all the time, be authentic. You know, my hair is blue right now because I have students that wear crazy colored hair and they feel like they can't interview with a blue bob. So I'm gonna wear my blue bob and I'm gonna walk into spaces with my degree and my graduate degree, and I'm gonna tell people, if you are uncomfortable with this blue bob, then you're gonna be uncomfortable with the brilliant talent that I have in my black and brown students. And so you represent that, Justin. So with that said, I would love for you to talk a little bit about your experience. What did you actually do in your internship?
Yes, so initially I was expecting the internship. I've seen like a lot of job descriptions from big record label in the music industry, like Atlantic and the Capitol Records, where the entry-level internships will be like coffee running, checking emails, just doing data dives or whatnot. So I was expecting to do something like that, but then once David sent over my job description, it said that my primary project for the summer will be leading our second artist, Michael Kilgore's Grammy nomination campaign for the entire summer. And I was like, what am I doing leading a Grammy nomination campaign? This is my first time ever in the music industry. But I was like, if he believes I can do it, I believe I can do it. So I dove straight in. David and I spent probably cumulative over 50 hours on Zoom talking, going back and forth all about the Grammy campaign. And we put in a ton of work to finally get it done. And we got the announcement, was it 1 week ago to the date, or 1 week ago yesterday, that Michael Kilgore was nominated for Best Traditional R&B Performance. So that was huge.
Round of applause, everybody. Let me find out you turned an internship to a Grammy nomination. And one of the things that you just said that I'm gonna just repeat back to you, you talked about the belief that David had in you. You know, that like, wait, he believes that I could do this Grammy campaign and I'm an intern and this is my first time in the music industry. Sometimes that's all it takes. Congratulations on your artists being nominated. Congratulations to you and your label and your company for being nominated. And congratulations, Justin, for your contribution to the Grammy nomination. How does that feel?
I was elated because it happened very early on a Tuesday morning, because we were all on the West Coast watching the live stream, and Gayle King came on to give the Best Traditional R&B Performance nomination announcements, and we had submitted to 5 categories in total. So the first category we submitted to was Best R&B Song, and unfortunately we didn't get that nomination. So I was a little disheartened after that category went by, and then Gayle King said the first nominee for the category we did get. And then she said, "Let me go, Michael Kilgore." And I don't think I've ever screamed louder than I screamed right then. My mom came sprinting to my room. She thought someone had broken into my window or something. She was like, "Justin, are you okay?" And I turned my computer. I was like, we did it. So I was just not even shocked, but just so relieved of all the hard work that we had put in. But I knew even more hard work was coming around the corner, because now we're in the second round of voting to try to win the Grammy. So we're putting in even more intense hard work in a shorter amount of time in the second round.
Well, you both are winners in my book because of the journey and the work that you've put in. For interns that are thinking about shooting their shot to apply for internships in a new industry, what would be your advice to them?
My piece of advice, I think when you're going into a brand new industry, especially in my situation, going to school in Los Angeles, it's easy to get attracted to the huge companies in the industry. because Atlantic had some opportunities. I know Quality Control had an A&R internship as well. But both David and Ms. Nash told me that the opportunities that you get at a small new company are unparalleled to anything you can get at a company that is already huge and that you'll be starting at the very bottom of the totem pole. So some of the opportunities that I've gotten throughout this internship experience are like things I could never thought of going into the summer. Like David brought me out to New Orleans to experience my first album recording session where I worked with our first artist, Jamison Ross. I'm now on the NAACP Image Awards nominating committee, which is also insane. I'm a member of Grammy U, so I'm a member of the Recording Academy now. And this is all thanks to all the internship experiences and like opening my perspective that that David has brought to me. Cause I know I wouldn't have been able to get some of these opportunities at a larger company, but someone that has a small company that has the same set of beliefs as you, that believes in you, that's something that you can't really get anywhere else. So I would just say, don't be focused on these huge companies that have the big names, the big artists. Just know, go somewhere that you believe in, that believes in you, and opportunities will find you.
I think there's a lot of value in bringing in young talent that I learned from him, like all the tech stuff. Hey, Justin, how we do this, how we do that. He learns from me strategic stuff, but there's that balance there, and I wouldn't see it any other way. And I can't wait for like my next two.
Let's go. Let's go. We still matching out here in these Rosecrans streets. Thank you for joining us for today's Career Conversations with Mr. Justin Powell, boss intern, Mr. David Hargrett, CEO and founder of Affective Music. We will be watching the Grammys. Make sure you are watching and also rooting for Michael Kilgore. Nominated for a Grammy. We will also be rooting for Mr. Justin Powell, boss intern. This is the power of internships. Thank you, and we'll see you for the next Career Conversation. Yo, let me find out, you on like the NAACP committee, Justin?